My name is Gasia, Mikaelian, and I'm coming to you through KTVU Fox 2 News in the San Francisco Bay Area. Today we are talking about parenting during the pandemic. Thank goodness we have an expert with us. A big welcome to Deborah Ann Davis. You're an author and parenting coach. Thanks for being with us.
I'm so glad to be here.
A lot of parents are overwhelmed by the fact that they are with their children 24/7. We don't even get that break that would normally come when the children are off at school. I'm sure you're hearing this from people you've helped.
Yes, I am. And the thing is that people feel like since now they're in the same building all the time, that they have to be in the same building all the time, and you don't. You know, you've got rooms that you can retire to and separate yourself from the drama and tension of other people. And the reason why that's so important to do that is for number one, it helps parents keep their sanity. But number two, you're modeling the behavior that your kids should be doing. So if things are getting too heady or tense and you say, you know, I'm going to excuse myself for a couple of minutes and I'm just going to go calm down, then you're teaching your kids to go do that too. Plus, moms never take time for themselves anyway. So now that their kids are plopped on the couch in front of them 24/7, they're not thinking about taking time for themselves anymore. They're especially now, and they're thinking, oh, I got to take care of the kids. I got to make sure they're entertained. I got to make sure the academics are going. You have to take care of you first. Just like the airlines say, put your mask on first and then the kid. If you don't make the time for yourself, you're going to be a crazy person, and then your kids will be crazy people, which will make you be more crazy.
Trust me, it just fuels that cycle. You know, I found, you know, like many people, I'm working from home. Really the only time I leave the house is either when I go on a little walk around the neighborhood or when I go to the grocery store maybe once a week. But I've learned that trip to the grocery store, I kind of tack on a little bonus, and there's like a kind of a cheapy discount clothing store I like to go to that happens to be in the same shopping center as our regular grocery store. So when I say, hey, I'm going to the grocery store, what it really means is that I'm going to take 15 minutes and look through a rack of jeans or, you know, a stack of dresses I'm probably never going to wear, and just that little bit of connecting
Me time.
me. Yes.
Me time.
It is like so invigorating. It's, you know,
Yes.
I've come to look forward to my little 10 minutes inside that little cheapy clothing store. So
Yes.
it sounds like that's a good coping mechanism.
Oh, it's a wonderful mechanism. And if you are carpooling or picking somebody up from something, go 10 minutes early and sit there. I used to read those little magazines like Prevention Magazine. They have like one-page articles. So I would just sit there and read articles, or I would write articles. You know, I would just sit there and relax. So I'd go 10 minutes early. And then when we got to the house, I'd say to my daughter, you go in, I'll be right there. And I would just mellow out in the car another 5 minutes, you know, as I processed the conversations that were going on in the back seat.
Right. Oh, I love that. Oh, it's the best position to be in. You know, you're up in the front seat driving, but you've got half an ear on what's happening behind you. Let's talk about the fact, as I mentioned, my two little boys have been home from school since the middle of March. They're 10 and a half and 12 years old. So they're doing school at the dining room table right now. I am learning more about who they are as students than I ever have before. And sometimes I hear and see behavior that just makes me crazy. But you have some ways that parents can look at the child's behavior. You know, I've learned that I shouldn't try to change my child's behavior. I should learn to change how I look at it. Can you help me do that?
I can help you do that. So first of all, let's look at it this way. They say that if you take an elementary school and you take all the teachers and you line them up on the playground and then tell the kids to go stand behind their favorite teacher, then every teacher will have somebody behind them, because every person's style matches somebody else's style. And some people have more people because there's more kids with that particular learning style. So my recommendation is for every parent, whether you're homeschooling or not, is that you go to one of the things. I've got one on my website from the Department of Education for Georgia. It's the Learning Style Inventory. And you go through and you answer all the questions and you identify your learning style. And the reason why it's important is because the way you learn is also the way you take in information. It's the way you share information, and it's the way you process relationships. So for example, if you've got a teacher who's an auditory teacher, they just verbally do things, and you've got a visual learner, they're not going to do as well or feel as comfortable in that class because it's not a way that they can relate. But that teacher is teaching the way that makes sense to them. So what you do is you go do your learning style, and then you probably can do the learning style for your child anyway. But if you've got an older child like you do, you've got a 12-year-old, you can have them do their own learning style inventory. And then you can go research, if I have this style, my kid has this style, what do I do to help them listen to me? Because there's no child in the world who starts out by saying, I'm going to figure out a way to thwart my parents. Yeah. Every single kid wants to be loved. They want to be admired. They want to feel secure. And they want to know that this relationship is going to be there for them forever. And every parent wants the exact same thing for themselves. So, you know you got that in common starting out. Figure out how you're different from your kids and how you're the same. And then you can say, this is how I bridge that gap. So if you got a kid who's just like you, then you're probably not banging heads with them because the things you do and say make sense to that child. But the things that they say and do also make sense to you. But for a child that has a different personality type or different learning style type than what you have, they proceed in ways that make no sense to you at all. And by taking the learning styles inventory, you can learn what it is that they're doing and what makes sense to them. And then you'll be able to move more smoothly between your relationship. And there's also a section on my website where they have the things, if the teacher's like this and the students like this, and this is how you bridge the gap. These are the kind of projects that are better. This is the way to help them study. I mean, it's a whole 9 yards is over there. But it also clues you in about how to remind them to take out the garbage. You know, if they're like watching TV and you've got an auditory learner, you could say, take out the garbage when that show's over. They'll hear you, they'll process it. But if it's a visual learner, they'll say, okay. And then the show's over and they'll forget. So you put a sticky note on the table in front of them. When the show's over, take out the garbage. And they will see that, and that's what they'll process and go do and remember.
And that doesn't really cost us more as parents. It's the same 2 cents worth of effort if I say it or if I just jot it down on a sticky. I like it. I mentioned to you that I have 2 little boys. You know, the older one is 12, the little one is 10 and a half. And especially with the older one, and when I'm around some friends who have children about the same age, kind of, we're getting to those delicious adolescent years, you know, where everything is full of angst, and, you know, it's the deepest hate, it's the greatest love, it's, you know, it's the biggest pimple in the world.
Yes.
I have such memories from middle school, you know, not all of them good, but I have discovered that my son loves to hear about the time that, you know, all my friends ganged up on me, or the time that I had this huge crush on a boy who wouldn't even, you know, look my way ever, or, you know, things that I feel like sort of traumatized me when I was young. He just loves hearing about it. And I feel like, you know, he's not going to go into middle school once he's finally allowed back on campus thinking he's going to be, you know, the most popular kid in school, he's going to get straight A's, you know, kind of all those expectations I feel like I had that never came true. What do you think about parents sharing their own, you know, failures or missteps or feelings of embarrassment to sort of help ease the way for their children?
First of all, I'd like to say that the reason why he's enjoying that so much is because it's making him feel normal. I'm not the only person who goes through that. The second thing is, occasionally they're going to ask you questions that you don't feel comfortable answering. And my solution for that, I would say to my daughter, like she'd say to me when she was in middle school, do you and dad still have sex? And I'd say to her, don't ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to. And she'd like turn around, walk out of the room.
Right.
So that's how I handle those things. But the other thing is, if they ask you questions that you don't feel comfortable with, you could say, why do you want to know? And then that redirecting of the conversation is going to tell you what actually is going on with them. Right. But in terms of sharing the information, your experiences, there's no answer for that because it depends on your child. It depends on your experiences. It depends on your relationship, and it depends on what's going on in their life. But if there is something that you want to share, that you want to use like as a life lesson, and you're not feeling like they're going to welcome it, go in the side door. I will get something, anything from like a comic to a magazine article or a funny video on YouTube, anything, and I'll show it to them, and I'll say, you know, this reminds me of when I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. How do you think your best friend would handle that? How do you think your best friend's mom would feel about that? So you're not focusing on them, and you have the conversation. But when you're doing that, the important thing is when you're done, get up and leave them back there wallowing in the warmth of a great conversation. You know, so it doesn't have to turn into a life lesson when you've directed it elsewhere, and they will still run around thinking, wow, my mom knows all this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really what we all want.
Right. My children have yet to say that. You know, we, what feels like 100 years ago, back when they were in preschool, we had two incredible preschool directors, one of which had, at the time, an older teenage daughter. And she said, my daughter will come home from a bad date and say, oh my gosh, mom, can you believe, blah, 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 you know? And I just remember thinking, oh, I never told my parents any of that. Like, my parents are the last people I would go to. And I mentioned that to her, and she said, look, the trick is, and she, you know, she did this thing where you want to keep the, you know, like if like the conversation is like a ribbon that's all coiled up inside their braids, just keep it coming. Because as soon as you say, you know, comes home from a bad date, and I say, oh mom, you know, he wasn't really that nice. Well, why'd you go out with a jerk like that? Or, well, you should have known by the way he treats his friends. Or, you know, well then why did you come home at 11:30? I should have seen you home by 9. And all of a sudden I'm the idiot for choosing the guy who doesn't treat me well and who, you know, kept me out too late. And there goes the communication.
Yeah,
and so
you put them on the defensive.
Right. And so just that visual of keep the conversation coming.
I love that.
Even though I'm cringing inside when I hear some of these things that these little boys tell me, I just tell myself, I don't ever want to snip that ribbon, because you can't ever really go back in there and get it. And
the other thing is, their opinions are their opinions, and they're entitled to them. But the problem is that if you want to focus in on one opinion, and then the next thing you know, it changes. They're not in that ballpark anymore, and you've made this big mountain out of a molehill over something that they don't care about anymore. And they change their mind. Right. They're like, oh, I don't even like that friend anymore. Why are you so upset about Lisa? You know, it's like Lisa's gone and done. You know, we want to talk a little bit about how parents can make the most of this time together. Parents are not getting a break. Children are not going to school. They're not going to play dates. They're not having sleepovers. I have a hope to emerge from this pandemic as a little bit of a better parent than I went going into it. What's your advice for parents? Well, first of all, about that sentence you just said, I had that hope every single year, every single school year. I hope this year goes, you know, it's just what we do. I would say, first of all, you have to understand what the new normal is. And if you can communicate the new normal to your kids, they will feel calmer. The new normal is change. Things are not staying the same. And whatever's going on in school right now, 2 months down the road, they may have to revamp the whole thing. But the way you communicate to your kids is, if things stay the same, I got your back. If things change, I got your back. And if I don't know how to do it, I will find someone who does. So you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about what's going to happen. And you got juniors and seniors, you don't need to worry about how are we going to go do college visits. I will figure that out. You worry about what's going on right now, that relationship you're having with that kid right now, your homework right now. You don't worry about it. You take care of being a kid. I'll take care of being the parent. I love it. Calm them down. I love it. You know, I feel like so often we try to solve the problem, but it sounds like what you're saying is that children just need to know whatever the problem is, right? Because what if the problem itself moves and changes? It will. Just that security of knowing mom and dad are here for me. You know, you're right. It's like, take that burden off your child and let them be the child, because look, we are the kings and queens of adapting, because look at where I am. Look what we've been doing for the past 6 months. That's a great tip.
and it's one I haven't come across before. Do you have another little nugget you want to leave us with for parents?
Wow, so many to choose from.
So many nuggets, yeah.
All right, I will say this about tantrums. Tantrums are not something your child is doing to you. From toddlers to 20-year-olds. A tantrum is something that's happening to them. And you should be really glad that the tantrum's going on, because that's them waving a flag saying, I can't cope, I need help, I can't do this by myself. And if they don't wave that flag, you don't understand that they're at the end of the rope. You know they're stressed, but you don't know where they are in the continuum. So tantrum, first of all, let them have the tantrum. Don't bribe them out of it. And then say, when you're done with this, I will help you. But I can't really hear your message right now because I'm distracted by the yelling and the screaming and the waving of the arms and the stomping and the flouncing. But when you calm down, I will be here for you and we will solve this problem together.
I love it. It's just that emotional security that helps kind of, you know, glue everything together. I know you have a number of books. I see one behind you, How to Keep Your Teen Daughter from Slamming the Door. Are there any other online resources, Deborah Ann Davis, that you'd like to point our viewers to who might be learning about you for the first time today and are eager to know more?
Well, all of my books are wherever you would expect to buy books. My website has a blog called Mary Meddling, because that's what I do best. And there's a lot of things on there for parents. And I won't say it's like a particular focus, because it's basically whatever catches my attention. I talk about what goes on. Plus, I have a 10th grade sense of humor, so you'll find that in there too. There are lots of resources in the back of all my books. All my books have bibliographies and a list of resources that you can use. And I guess that I also am doing parenting coaching. Oh, I should mention that for the month of October, I'm taking new clients. So until my spots fill up. So anybody can go to my website, deborahanndavis.com, and find out about the books or working with me or read the blog.
Perfect. And that's Deborah with an H, Deborah Ann Davis, author and parenting coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.